You worked for months to get your VA disability rating. You gathered the medical evidence, survived the C&P exam, and waited for the decision. Then, one day a letter arrives, and it is not good news. It is a proposed reduction. The VA wants to lower your rating.
And here is the part that makes my blood boil. Most veterans who get that letter have no idea they have the right to fight it. They assume the VA has final say.
I know a veteran who held a 50% rating for 8 years. He went to a routine re-examination. The examiner spent 12 minutes with him, and the next letter proposed dropping him to 30%.
The protections are in the Code of Federal Regulations, 38 CFR, sections 3.343, 3.344, and 3.951. They create a tiered shield based on how long your rating has been in place.
This is VA Benefits 1.29. Today we are breaking down every rating protection the law gives you and exactly how to fight back when you get that letter. And wait until you hear what happens at the 20-year mark. Quick intros before we jump in.
I'm Fenrir. There is a twist in this story that caught me off guard.
River here. The bigger picture on this is what got me excited.
Nova here. The data on this is wild. You will see what I mean.
Good to have everyone. Here we go.
Before we get into the protections, you need to understand what triggers a proposed reduction. The VA does not randomly decide to lower your rating. There are specific mechanisms in the regulations.
The most common trigger is a routine future examination, also called a re-examination. When the VA assigns a rating, they often schedule a follow-up exam 2 to 5 years later to check for improvement.
And this is where veterans get blindsided, Nova. You get a letter scheduling a C&P re-exam, and you think it is just a checkup. It is not. If the examiner documents improvement, the VA can use that single exam to propose a reduction. One appointment and your monthly compensation is on the line.
The second trigger is new evidence in your file. If the VA receives medical records or treatment notes suggesting improvement, they can initiate a review without you requesting anything.
The third trigger is clear and unmistakable error, known as CUE. Under 38 CFR, Section 3.105 subsection A, if the VA determines the original rating was based on a factual or legal error, they can propose a correction. CUE is rare, but it carries no time limit.
The important thing to understand is that a proposed reduction is not a final decision. It is a proposal. You have due process rights, and the VA must follow specific steps before any reduction takes effect.
Now here is where the defensive playbook starts. Once your rating has been in place for 5 or more years, the VA cannot reduce it as easily as they can a newer rating. The legal standard shifts in your favor.
This is 38 CFR Section 3.344 Fenrir. For ratings held 5 years or longer, the VA must show sustained improvement, not just improvement on a single examination. The regulation explicitly states that ratings subject to episodic conditions will not be reduced based on any one exam.
And that is exactly the problem I was talking about. Remember River's veteran who lost his rating after one 12-minute exam. If that rating had been in place for 5 years, that single exam should not have been enough.
The regulation goes further. The VA must consider whether the improvement occurred under the ordinary conditions of life. That means working, taking care of daily responsibilities, functioning in the real world. If your condition only improved because you were on bed rest or following a treatment regimen that prevented you from working, that does not count as sustained improvement.
The 5-year period is measured from the effective date of the rating to the effective date of the proposed reduction. Not from the date you received the letter, not from when the exam happened.
So stick with me here, because the protections at 10 and 20 years make the 5-year rule look like a warm-up.
At 5 years, the standard shifts to sustained improvement. At 10 years, an entirely different protection kicks in. This one does not protect your rating percentage. It protects your service connection itself.
38 U.S.C. Section 1150(9) and its implementing Regulation 38 CFR, Section 3.950(7). Once your service connection has been in force for 10 or more years, the VA cannot sever it. The only exception is if the original grant was based on fraud. That is a very high bar for the VA to clear.
Let me make sure everyone understands the distinction, River. After 10 years, the VA can still adjust the rating percentage. They can propose reducing your knee from 40% to 20%. But they cannot say your knee is no longer service-connected. The connection to your military service is locked in.
That distinction matters more than people realize. I know veterans who assumed a low rating meant the VA might sever the whole condition. After 10 years, that fear goes away.
Now here is the 20-year rule, and this is the one I teased in the opening. Under 38 CFR, Section 3.950(1), a disability rating continuously in effect for 20 or more years cannot be reduced below the lowest level held during that entire period. The only exception is fraud.
20 years of holding a 50% rating, and the VA cannot drop you below 50. Not for improvement, not for a bad exam. Only fraud.
The 20-year clock runs from the effective date of the rating to the effective date of the proposed reduction. And the phrase continuously in effect is critical. If the rating was ever reduced and then restored, the clock may reset.
Here is the part of the system that frustrates me the most. The VA has the authority to designate a condition as static, meaning no future re-examinations. But they do not always do it, even when the evidence is obvious.
Under 38 CFR Section 3.327, the VA will not schedule routine future exams when a disability is established as static. A static designation means the VA has determined your condition is not expected to improve. Conditions like amputations, blindness, or degenerative diseases are natural candidates for static designation.
If your condition is clearly permanent and you are still getting called for re-examinations, talk to your VSO. You can request that the VA designate your condition as static. It does not happen automatically.
Now let us talk about the protection for 100% total ratings, NOVA, because this is the strongest shield in the system. I have talked to veterans rated at 100% who live in constant anxiety that the VA will take it away.
38 CFR Section 3.340(3) specifically addresses total disability ratings. The VA cannot reduce a 100% total rating without an exam showing material improvement under the ordinary conditions of life.
If you forget everything else from today, remember this. The longer you hold a rating, the harder it is to reduce. And if your condition is truly permanent, you have every right to ask for a static designation so the re-examinations stop.
Everything we have covered so far is about knowing your shields. But what do you actually do when that proposed reduction letter hits your mailbox? The law gives you a specific playbook.
Under 38 CFR, Section 3.105 subsection E, when the VA proposes a reduction, you have 60 days from the date of that notice to submit additional evidence. That is 60 days to fight, not 60 days until the reduction takes effect.
Inside that 60-day window, you also have the right to request a predetermination hearing. That request must be made within 30 days of the notice under subsection I. If you request the hearing on time, your benefits continue at the current level until the hearing officer makes a final decision.
This is critical, River. Your benefits do not drop while the hearing is pending. The VA cannot reduce your pay before the hearing officer decides. That is due process protection written into the regulation. If the VA skips any of these steps, the reduction is void. Courts have overturned reductions where the VA failed to follow its own procedures.
Drop in the comments if you have ever received a proposed reduction letter and what you did about it. Your experience could help another veteran know they have the right to fight back.
The bottom line is this: 5 years locks in the Sustained Improvement Standard, 10 years locks in your service connection, 20 years locks in your rating percentage. And if you get a proposed reduction at any stage, you have 60 days and a hearing right that keeps your benefits flowing while you respond.
Next video, we cover permanent and total disability, the designation that unlocks CISSP free dental and property tax exemptions. That is VA Benefits 1.30.
If this series is helping you protect benefits you have earned, subscribe. We are covering every major VA program so nothing gets left on the table. Always verify everything with va.gov or an accredited veterans service organization. Okay, it is quiz time. Let's find out what stuck. Think through each question carefully before you answer.
Drop a like if we earned it, and subscribe so you never miss the next episode.
A veteran has held a 30% disability rating for 6 years. The VA proposes a reduction based on a single reexamination that shows slight improvement. Under the 5-year protection rule, what standard must the VA meet to reduce this rating? The correct answer is C. The VA must demonstrate sustained improvement across the full medical record, not just improvement on a single examination.
A veteran has been service-connected for a knee condition for 12 years. The VA reviews the case and determines the veteran's knee condition may not be related to military service. What can the VA do under the 10-year protection rule? The correct answer is D. The VA cannot sever the service connection after 10 years. It can only adjust the rating percentage, not remove the service-connected status, unless the original grant was based on fraud.
A veteran receives a proposed rating reduction letter from the VA. They want to fight it and keep their current benefits while the process plays out. What is the correct procedure? The correct answer is A. Request a predetermination hearing within 30 days of the notice. Benefits continue at the current level until the hearing officer makes a final decision.
Fenrir here. The part that sticks with me is how few veterans know these protections exist. The VA is not going to hand you a pamphlet explaining that your 5-year-old rating is harder to reduce. You have to know the regulations yourself, and that is a systemic failure.
River here. The story that stays with me is every veteran who accepted a proposed reduction without responding because they thought they had no choice. 60 days, 30 days for a hearing. That information alone could change outcomes for thousands of people.
Nova here. The numbers matter. 5 years for sustained improvement, 10 years for permanent service connection, 20 years for a locked rating. Those are not guidelines, they are law.
And the piece I keep coming back to is the static designation. If your condition is permanent, ask for it. Talk to your VSO. Stop the reexaminations that should not be happening. Next video, we dig into permanent and total disability. That is the designation that unlocks CISM free dental, property tax exemptions, and dependents educational assistance. VA Benefits 1.30. If this series is helping you protect benefits you have earned, subscribe. We are covering every major VA program so nothing gets left on the table. Professor Erica, signing off.